Hello and welcome to this edition of the Boob Tube Buddies podcast, featuring our discussion of Netflix's Black Mirror, the season 3 finale, episode 6, entitled Hated in the Nation. I'm your host, Foxman, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host and my wife, Bethany. What's going on, Bethany?
We watched, Hated in the Nation, Black Mirror.
I was going to say, where's the Black Mirror? Okay, no, that was pretty good. For those of you joining us for the first time, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, or our website, www.boobtubebuddies.com, to get in on the conversation. We will make sure all your thoughts and theories get on air. If you have listened to all of the Black Mirror episodes, you'll hear that we've interviewed somebody on all of them. So if you really want to get on to the podcast, you are welcome to come on and interview for different episodes. We have people coming on Legion now, Taboo. So
it's really fun to tell your friends and family, hey, I was just on this podcast, and then have them listen to you.
It is fun. I'm actually co-hosting or hosting remotely episodes of this podcast called Confessions Radio that I think come out later this week. Mm-hmm. It is fun. It's enjoyable to go on and do something like that.
Unfortunately, I can't tell any of my family members to listen to our podcast.
Yeah, it does get a little NSFW.
Yes, certainly.
So we have two special guests on this episode. First off, speaking of interviews, we have Ryan from the Black Mirror subreddit, and as always, Michael for Preacher Don't Preach.
True dat.
Okay, so this episode is 89 minutes long. We're going to do what we can to abridge it, which means we'll probably end up skipping over and glossing over certain things because we want to get the general feel of the episode and just our thoughts about the different parts as opposed to really giving you like play-by-play breakdown.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into our first segment, which, if you've been paying attention, it is called Summon It Up in a Tweet, which is 140 characters or less used to summarize an episode. So, here is Summon It Up in a Tweet.
Oh yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up. Summon it up, oh yeah, we're summon it up. Oh yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up. Summon it up and up.
Tweet.
Okay, so Bethany, I'm going to let you fire it up. This, by the way, is our last Black Mirror podcast until season 4 comes out, which is supposed to be in the first half of this year, is what Charlie Brooker said in an interview.
No, he said he would let us know when it was coming out in the early part of 2017. It's supposed to come out this year.
Okay.
But the release date is supposed to be... I know. That's awful. It's already almost end of beginning of the year. It's really hard to say.
Kind of. Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying. All right, go ahead. What's your Summon It Up in a Tweet?
I wish you hadn't prefaced it with, this is the last...
Saving our best for last.
Yeah, okay. This is definitely my best one, for sure.
It's not my best one. Go ahead.
Government project gone wrong. # death 2 sends bees to kill you. Talk about buzzworthy, am I right?
That's pretty good. It's better than mine. Okay, so... a long one to end the season. Lots of tie-ins for crowd pleasing. Gov is spying with good reason. Mass murder happens. Minds will need easing. And that is Summon It Up in a Tweet. All right, very good. So what did you think of mine?
Why do you even say that yours are bad? Yours are always good.
I didn't mean it was bad. It wasn't my best. You know, sometimes I do a segment.
I think I'm going to bow out of the Summon It Up in a Tweet.
Oh, stop it.
No. I mean, I started doing it with you because I felt it was a challenge, and mine are awful.
That one was good. You had buzzworthy. That was a little pun.
All right.
Your little pun. It was good. Good little bit. Okay, so real quick before we get into the episode, I had a couple of things that I read online that I found to be kind of interesting, so I'm going to go through them with you. They're all related to this episode.
I bet I know all of them.
Maybe you caught them. I doubt you caught
There's
all
no
of them.
way I know
caught
any
0 of them. I found them online. So at the very beginning of the episode, when Karen turns on the TV, the main character in this one, there's a news title that says U.S. military announces mass project, which is the episode before this one, Men Against Fire.
That one I did catch.
I did not catch it. Very good. Okay, so a news ticker displays the headline, Scalane appeal thrown out of court, and Shao Saito announces immersive new gaming system, which is from Black Mirror White Bear and also Playtest.
That one, the playtest part of it, I also spotted.
Okay, did not catch that one either. When deciding the order in which the third season would air, Charlie Brooker was explicitly told by Netflix that this episode could not be the first episode of the season because it was so long. They thought that it would discourage viewers from watching the next installment right away.
I think it's true.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a great episode, but would definitely be done with Black Mirror for the night after watching this one.
Yes, it's kind of like an anchor episode. It's just so heavy, So
it's
you need
very
the rest.
heavy. It's just because it's very heavy on tiny plot things moving it forward, and I don't even mean it in a bad way, because honestly, it is a brilliant episode. It's very good. It's not my absolute favorite, but I totally agree with that note right there from Netflix. And maybe Charlie Brooker did too, but when the character of Blue Coulson says she worked on the Ian Rannoch case, that is the child-killing dude from White Bear. And,
that
so
I didn't catch.
He's the one who tortured and murdered the little girl.
Oh, wow.
So Blue Coulson, like the girl with the blonde hair,
And
the
that's
sidekick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was what had, made her decide she wanted to get into, the field work, was getting out there to prevent stuff like that.
She wasn't a psychic.
Sidekick.
Oh. Could you see the wheels turning in my head? Wait, what?
Yes,
I thought she was
I
a
did notice that.
forensics person.
Okay, last one. And this is more of the science doesn't line up on this one. So you know the part where the guy Tusk is inside of the MRI machine, and when they flip it on, the magnetism
pops the bee out of his eye socket.
Exactly. So that actually could happen like that. If it came on, the magnetization would pull it out and pull it against the thing.
Right.
But that magnetic field lasts for at least up to 30 minutes. So the same magnetism that pulled it out of his brain and onto the side would have made it impossible for somebody, even after flipping it off, to go in there and actually pick the bee up right away.
Oh.
So
okay.
Anyway, just a couple of little interesting things.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, what do you think about this episode? How does it compare to the rest of them for you?
Not one of my favorites. Probably my lower third.
Okay.
What I will say is I like that the ending is kind of a satisfying, happy ending. You get that little nugget in there that maybe they're going to get that guy.
Yeah.
That Blue's been following.
He's actually talked about in an interview that they're really looking at maybe having some continuing characters.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode was one of the ones in particular. This one, and San Junipero was talked about actually too.
Right.
But so this one, who knows? Maybe it could actually follow them.
Is this a
hunting
popular
down.
one?
You know what? I usually check IMDb to see what the rating is.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see whether or not it was one of the higher rated ones. Okay. For me, this one is relatively middle of the road, but I think it's an important episode for the series. I
Why?
like it. It's just too long because it has a lot of tie-ins, which I think really helps you when you're pulling back the lens to look at the world that the Black Mirror universe is in here. Mm-hmm. The world that the Black Mirror universe is in? I don't know if that really lines up, but
I can't wrap my head around that one.
yeah, that is a way too Cosmos related.
Very meta.
Yeah, very meta. But when you pull back and you look at it, because it's got its threads tied into other little things like Playtest and White Bear, and then the other one that I was talking about a minute ago, I think that it just Mass. Men Against Fire. So it really ties in with a lot of other ones and help you kind of plot through the the timeline of which ones are occurring where, because it's out of order.
Yes, and now that they give you these little what do you call them, Easter eggs?
Yeah.
It is fun to kind of look for them, and like you said, this one had several of those in it, and then you find yourself trying to there's one in here, like when she's eating the fucking bitch cake, and it's in that white box. I wondered, is that like the same bakery that did the I love you cake?
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even think about that at all.
Shut Up and Dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all these little things that you start to look for, and how all of this is kind of what Brookie Shy said. What is his real name?
Brookie Shy.
Okay. What Brookie
You could call him Josh if you want. That is his actual first name.
Brookie Shy. I'll say it. Brookie Shy was saying that all of this is happening, on some sort of timeline in the Black Mirror world, and you're trying to
world
kind of
within
figure
the
out
universe within the expanding cosmos. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you're trying to figure out the timeline of how it all happens. What is the most futuristic thing? I agree with him. 15 Million Merits probably is the most futuristic one, and just kind of see how they all fall on that.
Yeah. Speaking of timelines, this episode has two of them. It starts off and ends, and there's a bit in the middle where it's the court hearing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like the panel of people. So that's how it starts off with Karen Park is in there.
Never caught her name. Called her Irish lady this entire thing.
Damn.
I couldn't understand anything anyone was saying.
Well, why would you not put on the...
I don't know how to do that. And I wasn't going to call you in the room.
Oh my god. Okay, so...
But I love that actress from Gangster Paradise.
Boardwalk Empire.
Thank you.
So we flash back to May 15th, and you can tell that she's like, they're trying to show you like she's one of these detectives that's all about her work, and like her personal life gets thrown to the side because she gets home with her big thing of like healthy groceries, sets them down, looks in the fridge for what she's gonna have for dinner, and pops open a can of Pringles.
Mama can relate.
Yeah, daddy can relate too. Oh, can we not say mommy and daddy when we're talking to the listeners?
I like it.
Okay, so that's when we get Joe Powers. And so we actually, while she's walking home, we get shots of the bee, and we're listening to, juxtaposed with this, I believe, is like she's hated right now. Hated in the nation, if you will.
Yes.
Because of this scathing article she wrote about some handicapped guy.
I guess. I never really caught what the article was.
I don't know if they were very specific about it.
But she is eating that shit up. She loves it.
Oh, yeah. No, she sits down with a glass of wine later.
To look at her, all the Twitter posts, just with a smile on her face.
Oh, yeah. She eats the fucking slice of cake with her bare hands.
And her husband, I felt bad for her husband.
Yeah,
It'd be tough
he's just...
to be married to someone like that.
Well, and then especially because afterwards he gets sliced and is the prime suspect of the murder of her to start off with.
I mean, it's usually the husband.
It is. Oh, yeah, no. It's usually... And they say that in this episode. Like, she's telling Blue, like, you know, don't drag in all of that online mambo-jumbo techno bullshit. She's like... It's usually no, okay. I was gonna try.
Southern?
I was gonna try to do her accent, and then I realized I can't do an Irish accent.
That's pretty good.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there.
Honey, don't you be dragging in all that technical mambo jambo.
I tell you what.
I tell you what.
Okay, and so she gets fucking killed, obviously. And then we see...
She likes Enya. I liked that Enya was playing.
Set away, set away. Yeah. And then that's when we see Tusk for the first time, who is the guy on TV who's like the hip-hop star.
He's awful. He's like on the Ellen show. And
something like that, yeah.
I hated that.
And he's like, yo, this fool needs to stop dancing. And then it shows like the 9-year-old kids backstage looking sad. He's like, he's making a total fool of himself. It's like, God damn it, Tusk. Like, why would you even be so rude? It's like, I was better than that at that age.
You also, not to go back, but that's exactly what I'm doing. So, you saw Death 2 or hashtag Death 2.
Oh, you did catch that early on?
Yeah, when she's going through.
Maybe I saw that, but yeah. Okay, so Tusk at this point, you realize
fucking dick.
He's going to be the next one. Is obviously what they're showing you here, and just during the crime scene investigation of Joe Powers, that's where we get introduced to Blue Coulson.
Mm-hmm. And you gave her background.
Yeah, who looks exactly like Soundcloud X's wife, right?
No way.
She looks just like her.
Oh my god, Heather is a million trillion times prettier than that actress.
It's not about pretty or not pretty. I'm saying like archetype of what they look like.
I don't see it at all.
Oh my god, you are crazy.
You really, just a word of advice. You should not say that women look like certain actresses unless the actress is known for being, gorgeous bombshell.
You don't think that actress is pretty?
Not particularly.
Oh, I think she's pretty.
Okay, well, you might not want to compare nobody actresses to people we know.
Like that one person we know that I constantly compare to Vanessa Bayer from SNL.
We gotta, no, you can't. We gotta keep going. We gotta pretend.
I feel
Let's
like
edit that out.
that was vague enough.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, we get a little bit of stuff here, but let's kind of skip forward to when they're... Okay.
And we are getting a timeline. The day one.
Day one, day two.
So all this...
I was just going to say let's skip to day 2.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That was going to be my point, actually, so that works. But
no, I'm sorry. I'm
yeah, why are you apologizing like you're a fucking battered woman over here? Like, I'm not doing anything to make you feel that way, am I?
Fuck you, I'll say day 2.
Jesus. Okay, so then we meet Nick Shelton, who is really dummy dingleberry through the episode and adds almost nothing except that he throws in, for literally no reason, a hashtag death 2 for the guy Garrett, the bad guy at the end.
Oh, at the end, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously dies because of it.
Oh, I know. Poor Shelton.
But we find out as they're doing their investigations, Blue, and I was a little irritated by it, how I get that she is supposed to be like a technological whiz kid when it comes to...
Yeah.
But it's a little much. Like, she's
it is
literally...
that she knows, yeah.
Like, the guy that's the head of the granular project. They go in there, and she's like, step aside. And he's like the guy who fucking wrote this code, and she's sitting down and, like, doing this stuff, like, figuring it out.
When she's talking to Rasputin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Rasmussen, by the way.
It's Rasputin.
Rasputin.
I totally agree with you, and when I was first watching it, and even this time when I watched it and couldn't quite remember how everything played out, she seems like she's a bad guy. Like, she's in on it.
Totally.
Because she's so, knowledgeable for a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
For anyone.
100% the first time I thought that she was in on it. And honestly, I don't know if I asked Ryan that in the interview or not. I'm forgetting, but I'm wondering if other people thought she was in on it too, because the level of know-how that she has throughout the whole thing is off-putting to me.
Brooker's like, we're already way over. We're at fucking 89 minutes. We don't have time to explain why she knows all this. Like, we gave a little snippet about it. Like, we gotta go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so, because it just didn't quite fit for me. But
we see the teacher, Joe Behar, and that she crowd.
Wait, I'm sorry. What's her name?
Liza Behar.
Oh, so Joy. Okay, gotcha. From The View.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stupid.
No, I mean, I'm not giving you any attaboys
so we
for that
see
joke.
Liza Minnelli. I'm just changing everything now. We see Joy Minnelli. She is the teacher. And
Joey Minnelli? Who the fuck is that? Joe Mangiolini?
It's just getting more and more.
Okay, but she's the first person we've seen that used the Death To, or she's the first person we meet in person that used the Death To hashtag.
Yes, and that they crowdsourced money to send that cake.
Her and a bunch of other, like, an online group thing.
You would get fired for that if you were a teacher. Teachers can't do that shit.
Yes, but also, how expensive is that cake that they needed to crowdsource for it?
It looked much better than the I Love You cake.
That is true. Yeah, it looked like they used some legit stuff on there, not that shitty fondant. Oh, yeah. What do you call it?
Fondant.
What is it really?
Fondant.
Why do you say it like you're from Bon Ton? Okay, so this is the part, I believe, where Tusk ends up getting killed, right?
Yeah, we see that he gets the hashtag Death To. He's with his little buddies in the garage.
Yeah. About to smoke a joint or smoking a joint?
Smoking that reefer. Has a seizure. Grabs his head.
That's true. I bet some reefer madness types would like take that clip right there.
Just that clip.
And like just of him smoking and then him having the seizure.
I can
and
see
be
it
like,
now.
Weed is dangerous.
Right, exactly. Weeds probably would have saved him from his pain receptors before he was able to kill himself.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's pretty funny, actually. But okay, so he ends up living, right? Oh, no,
Yeah.
until
Well,
that's right, until the MRI.
Yeah, they give him something to knock him out.
But he never wakes up after that. Like, they knock him out okay.
Yeah.
And then after he dies, that's when Karen and them actually end up seeing the bee thing for the first time.
Mm-hmm. The autopsy, the burrowed bee in brain. So many bees.
Yeah. Sorry, I was spilling fucking warm coffee on myself.
Talk about killer bees.
Oh, no!
I had it later and I just couldn't help myself.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, he's definitely going to say it. So,
You're really firing on all cylinders tonight, aren't you? God damn. Okay, let's move on past that.
Oh, it stings, right? When you make a bad joke?
Oh my God, please stop. Honey, you gotta stop.
Oh.
All right, no, seriously, let's get over this. I really love when they go to the facility that's out in the English countryside, just like the playtest Saito Gaming thing.
Where the bees are?
Yeah, like it's
It
out in
reminded
the
me of
English
X-Files.
countryside. I wonder why, well, maybe that's what secret government projects do. They have them in like these random locations. Is that true?
Why are you asking me? I have no idea.
Okay. I also found it a little weird that when they walk into the facility, there are 2 people that work in that gigantic facility. 2 fucking people. Did we see anybody else?
No.
At any point?
That's it. The girl with the heavy bangs and Rasputin.
That's insane.
Who was wearing stripes? Did you notice Rasputin was wearing stripes?
Does that matter?
Like a bee.
Oh, I thought you were saying like the character Stripe from Men Against Fire.
Oh, no.
That's just like the fucking scene from, not Deadpool, where he goes to the X-Men mansion and he's like, so what, did they just not have the budget to get any more X-Men? Just the 2 of you guys living in this gigantic house? That's what I was thinking when he goes there, and it's just the head of the project, Rasputin, and then...
And he's head of swarms. I love that.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then Tess Wallander, who is, I guess, just his assistant, but it's like, they seriously have that huge place, and like, they couldn't fucking hire some extras to be around in lab coats?
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe there were some people in the background spraying. Did you catch it?
No, but there should have been.
Maybe there was.
Maybe.
We're stupid. Okay, so, man, Karen is very combative with them, and Blue is just like a pig in shit, you know? Like she's like in her tech zone here.
What did you notice while she's going through the computer and Rasputin's kind of looking at her? He starts rubbing his penis and licking his lips. It was really weird. He's just shaking it.
I got just nothing to add to that. Like, what do you want me to say to that? What am I supposed to say?
Talk about the birds and the bees.
Oh, no! Please, let's move on.
I'm done. That's it. This is my last one.
Okay. God, good God almighty. Actually, you know what? That is not a bad time for us to throw over to the Audible app. But first, since this is the last episode, at least for a little bit until season 4 comes out, I thought it'd be fun to parse together just a few of my favorite bits and segments that we've done. It's just a few minutes long, all of them linked together. Then there will be a quick Audible app. But the first one is actually the song that Karen from the Black Mirror subreddit sang. Mm-hmm. And then we have one from Playtest, the one from White Bear. No. Shut Up and Dance. And then the one that you did for San Junipero.
Cool.
Yeah, so anyway, go ahead and sit tight, enjoy that. And
I want mine's first, since I'm Queen Bee around here.
Oh, God, actually, we close out with yours because you're Queen Bee. We'll be right back.
You can blame me, try to shame me, and still I'll care for you. You can run around, even put me down, still I'll be there for you.
In a world where surface is all that matters,
you don't want your husband to get back and see a beefed up cooch all burnt up.
and anything of substance is met with disdain.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Lacey is about to hit rock bottom.
Shut up and dance is about a kid who jerked off to kiddie porn. Spoiler alert. Kenny and his boy Braun do some heinous shit and get out it anyway. They're totally fucked.
Why don't we try mixing things up a little bit?
Boob Tube Buddies is a podcast network. We're the funniest motherfuckers on earth. They say in heaven, angels love mirth. We're the funniest motherfuckers on earth. We're the funniest motherfuckers on earth.
Hey there, little buddies. I don't know about you, but I certainly have noticed a trend in recent years with TV and movies, and that trend is that the end of the world is coming. Now, sure, these apocalyptic landscapes vary. The cause of each can differ, from global warming to nuclear war to catastrophic infectious diseases, but the overarching theme is you better be ready, which is why I just downloaded the Zombie Survival Guide by Max Brooks on Audible. This fantastic book will help you weather the apocalypse, even if the remaining terrain is chock full of brain-eating monsters. So go to audibletrial.com/Boob Tube Buddies to try Audible free for 30 days, and you can claim your free first book, which if you're smart, will be Max Brooks's Zombie Survival Guide.
Okay, we are back. One last thing that I wanted to mention about them at that facility, the not swarm facility, what a granular project facility is. That's the point where we find out that somebody has hacked one of the swarms, like, yes. Or just actually one individual bee. I think it is at that point, right?
Yeah. While Rasputin was rubbing one out, they were able to figure out what was going on, and yes. Blue really uncovered it.
Yeah, because she's such a fucking techno whiz kid.
Here it is. I just found it.
Yeah.
It's like Jurassic Park. Remember Jurassic Park where the girl figures out like the security code?
Oh, yeah.
The 11-year-old girl for this huge...
And not that there aren't maybe like 0.001% of people out there like that exist, but I just find it hard to believe that her in that role, that she can come in and say, step aside. Like, didn't say the magic word. God damn it! Okay, so, and also 4,000 bees per hive. I thought that was kind of interesting. So anytime just one of them gets activated, that's about roughly 4,000 bees, like, getting sent towards the person.
And they work autonomously.
And, I thought this was fucking crazy, that they breed, too, basically. They use, like, a 3D printer type system to recreate.
And when they do breed, the male bees have a little top hat feature.
Okay. I just can't, what the fuck is with you tonight?
So fucking stupid. It's not funny.
I actually thought that one was funny. I like that one. All right. And then this is also where we meet Detective Sean Lee. Is that
big Asian, right?
Yeah. Okay. Is he the, like, Tanaka or something, like Coach Tanaka or something like that from Glee?
No.
That's not the same guy?
No. That guy you're talking about isn't even Asian. He just is a big, fat-faced, and his big cheeks make his eyes look horizontal.
We are... Oh my god. If we're coming across as racist right here, I am really sorry. It's just ignorance. That's it. It's just ignorance. We're so ignorant. Okay. Anyway, apologies for that. But he basically lets them know, okay, this thing from Tusk, like, it's all related.
His name is what? Chow Win? What's his name?
No, dude. Sean Lee.
Sean Lee.
So we find out through the episode that he actually knows more, like, he has high clearance. So he knows more about this project, like, that they are actually using this to spy on people. Which, shocker, the government is spying on people. Especially, I mean, the NSA is really bad here in America. But they are passing all sorts of crazy shit in the UK recently to be able to surveil people.
I don't mind that.
You don't mind that?
Nah.
You fucking sheep. That's what they want. They want you to keep them safe.
I'm a bit of an exhibitionist. It's all right. For voyeurs. Wait, is it exhibitionist? Shaking your head at me. Blue finds what the hashtag issue is.
Yes. Okay. So this is where we get our first thing, and then there's a
game of consequences.
Exactly.
It reminds me of like the Saw movies a little bit.
Yeah, and basically it lays it out here. 1, pick a target. 2, post the name and photo with the hashtag #DeathTooth. 3, most popular target will be assassinated at 5 p.m. 4, reset at midnight.
Which, use that formula. A plus B equals C, they found their next victim.
Yeah, exactly.
Claire.
Yes, Claire, who had... And actually, this is not... I mean, this isn't exactly what... But there was that one girl who took the insensitive selfie at Auschwitz or something like a couple of years ago.
Yes, and then most recently that TV personality or actress who was in a female locker room and took a picture of a naked older woman just in the locker room.
Yes.
Was like, ew, that is fucking awful.
It is awful. Yes, totally agreed. And so this girl basically did, something like that. Although, to me, the one in the locker room is worse, because that is a specific person. I mean, like, whatever. It is, what she did right here is insensitive, but it shouldn't lead to her dying. But it does. But anyway, so they, rush over to go pick her up, and, go ahead.
Nope.
Oh, it looked like you were about to, okay.
I'm holding in a sneeze.
Okay, gotcha. So they go and they pick her up. The fancy self-driving car thing,
Love
soup's
that.
cool, yeah. We just got our new car, by the way, which we named Brookie Shy Shy. And
No, I asked my daughter, what do you want to name the car? And she said, Old Man Black.
Old Man Black. So obviously the racial insensitivities don't fall far from the tree. Oh my God. Oh, that is terrible.
So they tell Claire on the phone, I'm sorry to jump back to
that's fine.
The Vic, close all your windows. She fucking opens her window or like puts her head out the window.
Yeah, smart. Way to listen to instructions, you fucking jagweed.
What's almost as stupid, what's more stupid is where they take her. They know what the bees can do.
Yeah.
Where they take her to an old fucking cabin with all these put her in a bank vault.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. A bank vault would be perfect, or a fucking bunker or something. But you're right. That is the weakest safe house idea ever.
You're not keeping her away from a criminal. You're keeping her away from tiny little bees.
And when the bee swarm starts coming, I just love that Detective Sean Lee is outside staring at them coming. And like from relatively far off, and just stares in amazement for a solid 15 seconds, maybe 10 seconds into that. They're actually buzzing past him. He's still not running. He's just like ducking. It's like, dude, get your shit together.
And I will say that bit of technology, the bees coming, did not look so great. Black Mirror does a good job with their tech stuff. That did not look
You know what actually didn't look super great? The car that they had moving looked a little transposed too, because the way
fancy car?
Yeah, the fancy car looked a little weird too.
Yeah, this was the most recent episode.
Yeah, it is weird, because I always think that everything that they do looks pretty seamless, and I also thought that only the bee swarms looked wonky. The individual bees look great.
Yeah.
Detailed, but the swarms look pretty shitty.
And I feel like they would know it looks shitty, so why highlight it with Sean Lee like
Yeah, especially as they're rushing past him, it looked particularly weak.
And then he trips and falls and
farts.
Bloody,
his pants split. And then that poor girl ends up getting killed right in front of them. That's a pretty harrowing scene in that bathroom too.
So the bees have to get inside of her through some sort of orifice, right?
Yes.
Put the shower curtain around her head.
Yeah, or anything. I guess they just didn't react fast enough.
No,
when
they
were
literally
in there.
hold her head up and present her open nostrils to the bees, like, enter here.
Yeah, it was really poorly done. You don't need to tilt your head up and do that away, because nobody can see that, and it's just putting your voice away from the mic.
I thought maybe they could hear me going,
okay, maybe. I get it. Sometimes it's better to act it out. It's like when you're talking over the phone, how it's actually almost better to smile when you're trying to be pleasant, because you naturally come across more pleasant.
Yeah, I don't do that. I'm normally grimacing.
Okay, but seriously, do you smile on the phone when you're trying, even if it's not like...
For work? Yes.
For anything?
Not for family and friends. I don't fucking care. But
you
for work,
really don't?
No, why am I smiling like an idiot while I'm talking on the phone? Unless it's for work.
I'm gonna start like watching to see what you do, because I'm pretty sure you smile all the time on the phone.
If someone's being hilarious.
Okay. All right. Actually, let's throw over to Ryan from the Black Mirror subreddit for his interview. Funny enough, this is the first interview that I recorded, and I recorded it in December. And here we are in February releasing the episode.
Oh, that's weird.
Sorry for the delay, Ryan. But yeah, this is basically taken out of time, like 7 weeks after I recorded it.
You sound so much happier and full of life.
Yeah, before I was beaten down by early 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, we'll be right back.
Player 3 has entered the game.
All right, Foxman here, joined by Ryan, whom I met on the Black Mirror subreddit. How you doing, Ryan?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good, man. Thank you very much for joining me. It's funny, you're actually one of the first guests that I've had on to interview, but we're doing the last episode, so we're probably recording this a full month before it airs. So I guess like delayed gratification, yay.
Yeah, I mean.
So we are discussing Hated in the Nation, and we're going to talk a little bit about Black Mirror as a whole, too. So as far as how this episode sits for you, is it like one of your favorites, one of your least favorites? You did specifically select it, so I'm imagining you'd like it.
I mean, yeah, I like it a lot, especially just because of the whole moral of the story. Like, all of the Black Mirror episodes tend to kind of have morals in of themselves. But this one, I like it because it really jumps out at you. It's not so subliminal.
No, and it's also something that's very relatable because, like, online mob mentality is a real thing. And that's really kind of what this plays into with the hashtag #death2.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you look on Twitter, there's like a million different hashtags of just people hating on each other. So it's not like something that's too far off from how the real world works.
And we met on Reddit, and Reddit definitely has its trolls.
4chan.
Yeah, exactly. So, who do you think? We didn't prep this ahead of time. I just wanted to ask you, like, flat out, who do you think, just objectively, would be in danger of being a falling victim to the #death2 hashtag in today's society?
Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean that is the obvious one, right? And then honestly, probably behind that would probably be Hillary Clinton. I mean,
right.
Just in terms of like online vitriol, I'd say that those are probably two of the most polarizing figures of the last year, for obvious reasons.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So, okay, well, let me ask you, is this your favorite episode, or do you have another one that kind of tops the pantheon?
Well, I think pretty much the general purpose of Black Mirror, like the reason, in my opinion, that they created the show was to make people think. So, for me, my favorite episode is White Christmas, because at the end of the episode, he's sitting in the room for, I believe somebody on Reddit calculated it out to be like 1.5 million years.
Oh, God.
Sitting in this room, listening to the same song that just keeps getting louder and louder every time he tries to turn it off. So I think for me, that's definitely my favorite episode. But this one's up there right next to it. It's
that one was such a mind fuck at the end of that. I mean, you start to eventually, as it starts to come down to it, see it coming. You start to piece together what John Hamm's character was doing as a profession. But the actual, that was my takeaway after I finished it, was just sitting there for just a second, because it was too much to comprehend, of what it would be like to sit there even for a full year. I mean, and he has to do that, like 100 million times over. I'm terrible at math. That might have been completely off. But it was just like, that was rough. Okay, well, conversely, what is your least favorite episode?
Well, to be honest with you, I think I would say my least favorite episode is probably the first one. With
it's not one of my favorites either.
Right, because I don't feel like it makes you think so much. Like it has kind of a plot twist in there when the captor releases his daughter before he airs on national TV. So it kind of messes with you a little bit in that, but it's not as much of a mindfuck as some of the other ones. I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and it doesn't, it's funny because it actually is the least Black Mirror episode of, in terms of, thematically, of any of them, not only because there's not, a true defined moral, it's just a quandary that he's in, is all. Right. Well, I'm not to diminish it, it's a terrible quandary, but it also doesn't rely on technology, which I think, the dark side of technology and, the pervasive nature of it, that's one of my favorite parts. I didn't really like the Waldo one, where he's kind of the politician.
Yeah, I didn't not agree, but I didn't like with that one too much.
It was kind of funny. It definitely had its moments, and honestly, among a weaker show, it probably would be one of my favorite episodes. But the bar's just so high. That's the best thing I think about this show, is how consistent it is.
Right.
It seems like everybody else really likes San Junipero. What do you think about that one?
I really like that one. it really does kind of mess with you, as a lot of the other ones do, because you go through the whole episode and you're just kind of confused about how time is moving. And and at the end they reveal that to you. And I guess it's good mainly because they don't really explain like how people get into the San Junipero. Like obviously they die when they get older, but it's just a really interesting concept. And it's also nice because it has kind of like a happy ending to it, which is different than I'd
very
say
rare for the show.
Almost all the episodes.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, most of them definitely end off on a "aw" sort of note.
Right.
Well, let me ask you, just as kind of like a last thing, what other shows are you watching? Like, what are you into? What has been like, you know, your shows that you've gone into in the last like 3-4 months?
Oh well, that's. I mean. Honestly, I've just been watching a lot of Futurama, and
I love Futurama.
Yeah, it's a great show. Futurama is good because it has more of like a plot to it than a lot of the other pointless shows out there. You know, like Family Guy is just meant to be funny, but it doesn't really have that much happen.
Yeah, you know, there's this like mega reposted thing that comes up on Reddit about the average education of the Futurama writers. It's like, you know, like all of them went to like, you know, Princeton, Yale, or Harvard, something like that. And it comes through. And God, I gotta say that episode with the dog and the walking on sunshine.
Yes, I know.
Dude, it pulls at my heartstrings.
It does. That's it. That one in the last episode.
We kind of went through everything here with, your opinion on the show. Is there anything else that you wanted to get out there? Like, is there anything you wanted to promote or anything like that?
I mean, I just want to say that if any of you listeners haven't watched Black Mirror, it's probably the best show I've ever seen. So,
and also shame on you for getting 17 episodes into this podcast just to have now get into the show to watch it.
Oh yeah, that's true. But hey, I mean.
Hey, no, it's possible. We have people picking up definitely random episodes here and there. So, I mean, it's an amazing show. I try to tell everybody, like, if you watch it and you don't like the first episode, at least keep going and try the second one. Because I feel like the second one's a better representation of what the show in general feels like.
Right. Yes, because, I mean, the first episode, I mean, it's interesting, but it's not a great representation.
No, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the rest of them. But, okay, Ryan, this was awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on, and I hope that we could have you back when Season 4 eventually comes out.
Got my fingers crossed.
Awesome. Okay, well, anyway, man, you have a great night, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
Player 3 has left the game.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan, from the Black Mirror subreddit. And honestly, since this is the last episode for a little bit, everybody from the Black Mirror subreddit.
Everyone was great. And everyone
really
took it
smart
seriously
and had good insight.
Absolutely.
Decent audio quality. We had lots of people. It was really, really fucking cool. And it's the first time, this is the first show that we'd really done that. We're starting to expand it now because of how great it's been for Black Mirror. So it started with you guys from the Black Mirror subreddit, so thank you so much.
We started from the bottom, now we here.
Started from the bottom, now my whole subreddit here. Okay, that was terrible. That was so white. Oh God, I'm bringing race into it again. All right, day 4. So we...
Ding ding.
What's that?
Like the Law and Order.
Oh, okay.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Ding. All right, so... that's when we start getting like the news flash montage.
They got wind of the hashtag business.
Exactly. So the Chancellor's at number 1 in the system, and so Sean Lee has to go meet with the Chancellor. He's not particularly thrilled about what's going on now. He wants to go to North Korea and shut down the whole fucking internet.
Yeah, Colonel Pickering over there. Wait, who is it? Who's the famous Colonel Picker?
I don't know. There's multiple colonels.
There's a Pickering. Anyway, would you do this?
Shut down the internet?
No. Guess what I'm talking about. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, thanks.
Would you get sucked in after you heard about it on the news? Would you do the hashtag death to anyone?
No. If I heard that somebody was actually going to die from it?
Yeah.
No. Even if... Okay. let's say, for example, in America right now, like Trump would be super hated, or like 4 months ago, Hillary Clinton would be super hated. I would be, no matter what my level of hatred for any person would be, I'd be fucking terrified of getting put on some list somewhere and being, whether or not I'd be culpable for it, I would not stay far the fuck away from that.
Agreed. But what if you didn't necessarily think it was going to kill someone? You know, it was just like underground.
Fun and games?
Like Slender Man. You know Slender Man's not real, but you hear all these crimes associated with it. So are people really dying because you put #death2?
Yeah, again, I would stay away from that. Would you do it?
I don't think so.
You wouldn't know how to, you'd have to get on Twitter to do it.
Oh yeah, I don't know how to use the Twitter.
No. Your tweet would be like 800 characters. I'm funny. Okay, so anyway, they decide they're not going to pull the internet, because if they do that, guess what? He's already at number 1, so he's going to be stuck at number 1 when that happens.
Yeah, why isn't it Farrington, the pedophile?
Yeah, exactly. Who's number 4 on the list, by the way?
Just goes to show you.
And he's like 80 years old, so the chance is like, that dude's had his run. Let's like leak this document and get him bumped up to number 1 for the day.
God, what a dick.
It was a dick move. But at this point, Karen is talking with an ex-employee of Granular, I believe, who had some run-in with this dude, Garrett, who ends up being the bad guy.
Well, he saved her.
Oh, he saved her.
Yeah, she had been bullied.
She was getting bullied.
She was getting bullied, and then she tried to kill herself in
That's
the bathtub,
right.
And he pulled her out and was really kind to her or something.
So he was the roommate who worked there. So she didn't... So why was she meeting with this lady?
I don't remember.
Okay, because they were meeting with old Granular employees? Is that what it was?
Maybe.
Okay. All right, so and I guess that's what, to him, had set off this whole thing, where he realized, like, how shitty the internet can be when it turns on. And I thought it was really insightful, and the words that they chose here, like, really set it off for me. Is like, she said, you feel crazy. It's like a million invisible people shouting out how much they hate you, and like, it makes you feel insane.
That's why I would never want to be a celebrity, ever. Like, I remember as a kid thinking, oh, it would be so awesome to be a star or famous. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
People are so awful. Like, the internet is just, it's awful.
And there's very few celebrities that escape it either. I mean, you think that Betty White's popular? Wait till we get to Michael's Preach or Don't Preach.
I'm sure hates Betty White.
I'm sure he's going to be going off about Betty White.
With her beehive hair. She doesn't even have beehive hair. God damn it.
Oh my god. But so you threw me totally off my fucking game with that. This is where we find out about the 97-page manifesto from Garrett called The Teeth of Consequence, where it basically...
Boring. Can you imagine having to read that shit?
97 pages. Look at this fucking blowhard over here.
Exactly.
You fucking... Oh, yeah, that was boring. I would be bored reading it.
Oh my god. It's so self-indulgent.
It's very self-indulgent.
I like the America's Funniest Home videos of the army people, the soldiers trying to kill the bees.
It would be funny if they threw a laugh track on that.
Or what's the not Dukes of Hazzard, but the Monty Python music?
How's that one go?
I don't know. That's why I said it.
You instantly got me on.
It's something like that.
Oh, well, that is Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh no.
That's what their horn does.
Not the Dukes of Hazzard thing. It's the carnival music. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Okay. Man, you're really throwing me off with all your fancy little things here today. But this is where, anyway, they find out about Garrett Scholes. He is the bad guy. And they actually find him based off of this geo-tracker that's in this photo that he used in his manifesto. So they rush towards this thing, but not before Sergeant fucking Daryl Dipshit over here does the #death2. He sees that he's been mentioned on Twitter with the #death2, and then he realizes, like...
They know who he is.
Exactly. So he instantly packs up and fucking leaves, and that's the only reason that he doesn't get caught right here. It's the only reason why that detective and 387,000 people die. Just because... what the... This is a sensitive fucking... Like, there is national security here, first off. There is, like, levels of security clearance, like, for all this information that they're holding. All this stuff. What fucking purpose? And he knows that he's not going to make him the number one trending person. It accomplishes nothing.
It's like when somebody posts something and then the first person that gets to respond puts first. You know? First. I don't know why.
Like he just wanted to be like the cool guy, like have some bit of like...
yeah.
Like evidence that he was the first one to do it?
Yeah.
What a... Oh man, that kills me. And obviously he ends up dying because of it. So they end up going to the granular facility again, and they're looking at the thing, and he's trying to reverse engineer it, and then...
But before that, at the house, he torches his house, schools, they find a fake hard drive, and Blue, because she knows everything, figures out that the players are the target. They find his kill list,
and
basically.
It's 387,000 people that they're starting to realize, like, these are the people now. But then they're like, oh shit, wait, maybe we shouldn't hit the stop on this project because it might actually, like, start his, you know...
And Kim Jong-un is like, no, we're hitting it.
That's not appropriate.
Is it not?
Definitely not.
Wasn't there a news story about how he just died?
No, his brother was killed.
Same name, right?
No, because this guy's name is Lee.
No, I know. Like Kim Jong, his brother had the same name.
Oh, he did?
Like Kim Jong...
I'm just saying he's an Asian person. You can't call him Kim Jong-un
It had nothing to do with him being Asian.
What did it have to do with?
He's being dictatorial.
Oh, because he just made the decision?
Yes.
To hit the button?
It has nothing to do
and
with...
because we'd already talked about North Korea early in the... I'm honestly just trying to cover for you, it feels like, at this point.
No, that's why I said it, and because that news story's out.
Okay.
I forgot he was Asian. I thought he was the coach for the league.
All right. Because there are 3 reasons backing you up right there, I will say you're fine. Yeah. Dodge that bullet. Unlike the 387,000 people right here. So a song starts playing, which I just looked up. It's called Fall Into Me by Alev Lenz. A-L-E-V-L-E-N-Z.
Birds and the bees and the apples and the trees and the moon and the stars. Let me tell you about love.
I've never heard that. I was sure you were singing In the Big Rock Candy Mountain.
You never heard the Birds and the Bees song? Well, that's the song.
Because in that song, the Big Rock Candy Mountain is in the birds and the trees and the coconut bees and the Big Rock Candy Mountain.
Oh, and then maybe it's just a play off that.
Is it?
Oh, I know what it is. On top of Old Smoky.
Is it? Or now you're just being weird?
All covered with cheese.
Yeah, I know that one.
Wait, there's no meatball on top of Old Smoky.
Excuse me? This has gotten way off track. Stop. Okay. All right. So anyway, Fall Into Me by Alev Lenz, Reset. We've got everybody now that is participating in this hashtag Death to is dying. So this slow song is playing. We see the teacher, the bees are all showing up. We see the detective Nick, he's there. And then juxtaposed over this, we see Garrett, the bad guy, packing up all his shit, shaving his head, pops in colored contacts, and he's in like a hut in the middle of what? Would you say that was like the Middle East?
Oh, I thought he was in a South American country.
I think he is later, but for some reason for me, it seemed like they're trying to show that he's moving all around to stay ahead of them. So for me, like when he comes out of the hut, the stuff in the background for me, that looked like, I don't know, like Iran or something.
Okay, well, it doesn't make sense though, because he puts on the risque woman's clothing and wig. I don't think he could be wearing that.
Was he fucking missed Doubtfire all of a sudden? It's like a really weird tonal switch in the episode. But he chucks the shit over the dam, and yeah, we know that everybody died. Actually, before we go any further into it,
stomps off in his Louboutins.
Let's do Michael's Preacher Don't Preach, and then we will be right back.
Preacher Don't Preach.
And now, here's Mike.
Well, hello, little buddies. Welcome to another episode of Preacher Don't Preach. As always, for these segments, I'm your host, Mike, the philosopher. I am going to make that nickname stick. Unfortunately, this is the final episode of Black Mirror. Episode 6, Season 3, Hated in the Nation. Actually, the first episode I ever watched. I'm a little sad because this is the last one until we get Season 4. And I've had a great time talking with you guys about this kind of stuff. But hopefully we'll hear you'll get to hear me on other stuff if you enjoy me. If not, too bad. You're going to hear me on other stuff. But let's jump right into Hated in the Nation, all right? Right off the bat, I like this episode because I love Kelly Macdonald. She's one of my favorite actresses in Hollywood, regardless of talent. I just like beautiful Irish women with that accent. It was awesome. Plus, you have the waif from Game of Thrones, which is kind of cool. But in this one, you have the bees. The guy has reprogrammed to target people who use who get targeted by a certain hashtag, and then later on, he flips it and uses the bees to attack the people who did the hashtag. And the episode hits it on the nose. The Inspector Park, played by Macdonald, she says, what is this? This is like a morality lesson. And that's exactly kind of what it is. And it gets to like the horrible things that we say and we do, when there's no fear of retribution. It's not anything new, and that's a popular theme with me, that a lot of this stuff you see in Black Mirror is stuff we do, but it's not stuff that's new, and I think that's always important. Like it's human nature type stuff. It's stuff we've done for eons, and in this case, you go back and you see it when people were like burning witches, drawing and quartering, these famous characters in history. I think of what was the movie with Mel Gibson there? Braveheart, right? Where they cut him up at the end, and there's this huge crowd watching that, and it's always been a thing where people sit there and yell at you. They would throw stuff at the jail carts as they walk by, scream at the guy, standing on the gallows who killed all these people, the criminal. Even more recently, like lynchings and stuff like that, where a group would get together and attack, a single person, where maybe on their own they wouldn't ever do that sort of thing. So the idea of doing stuff without fear of retribution, these horrible things that we wouldn't normally do, is not anything new. But today we see it in the cyber world, of course. YouTube comments, man, those things are some of the most vitriolic, poisonous, nasty threads of conversation you'll ever see. I mean, I don't know how a cat video can devolve into a conversation about race and sexuality, but it does more times than not. But you see it on Facebook, you see it on Twitter, so it's all over the place. We're all familiar with it, and it's hard to judge people on that stuff all the time. I mean, I see it and I think it's horrible, and I've said that, but morality to me is relative to the individual. Like, what you and I think are moral might be very different. And I'm always drawn to people. Like, I always wonder about the minds of people who commit horrible crimes. Like, let's say a Jeffrey Dahmer. What if he thought that killing those people was a good thing? What if for him that was healthy? That was the right way to behave, and how the rest of society behaved was the wrong way. Now, if that's the case, he's not being immoral if he's staying true to his beliefs, but he's at least not to himself, right? So we're getting back to that relative to the individual. But of course, it is immoral to the rest of society, and that's how we determine things. Not by the individual as much as we like to think of ourselves as individuals. We have a social contract that we have to meet, where the goods of the many outweigh the goods of the few, right? But the question is immoral behavior of this sort like a punishable offense? So if somebody goes on to Facebook or onto Twitter and just starts calling somebody these horrible racist names, uses hate speech and stuff like that, there is penalties for it, but is it really something that can be punished by extreme measures, beyond like fines and stuff like that? And I don't think it is. I mean, I'm torn a little bit, but I don't really see that as something that can be regulated. I mean, people are going to say horrible things, but you got to have a thicker skin or stay out of the forums, because that's going to be in there. I mean, it's a popularly known thing. And you know, if you want to change that sort of stuff, you have to change it through example. You can't engage in it. So when you're on like a Facebook post or something, especially now, you see it a lot with the political stuff. If you're on a Facebook post and you see somebody, they might be trolling, just don't lower yourself to that. When you see somebody say something horrible, say something intelligent. Don't say something counter to that, because those are arguments you just can't win. And I guess that's it for me. I really want to keep on talking because I don't want it to end, but all good things must come to an end. So I will see you in the future, little buddies. And, you know, be good, be smart, be thoughtful. And remember, the Unexamined Show is not worth watching. And I will see you around. All right, peace out, guys.
Preacher don't preach.
All right. Thank you so much to Michael for not just this Preacher Don't Preach, but every single episode of Black Mirror. He's done one of these. It has been awesome having him on. He is actually going to be hosting a full episode with me, doing like a first season of Young Pope breakdown, and that is going to release at some point this week. We're recording it in like 2 days.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And actually, while we're talking about that, you and Kristen have your finally the Boob Tube Buddies coming back together.
Yes, Big Little Lies premieres tonight on HBO. Kristen and I have both read the book. We've been so looking forward to this.
Yes, we're recording on Sunday, by the way. Like, that's when this is recording right now. So when you say tonight...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So it's... And we will be recording Monday night, right, the day after that it premieres. So very excited about that. And then right after that, we'll be doing Feud. The Ryan Murphy...
Joan Crawford?
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Bette Midler, Betty Davis, Joan Crawford feud.
Yeah, that looks really good. But okay, anyway, let's finish up the episode. This is where they kick back to the hearing, and the lady running is like, we don't need to go over the loss of life or the scale of it, so we know that it happened.
Fuck those douches. Moving on.
Okay, well, that's not what they're saying, but it's basically showing us like this happened. And this is when they kind of cut back to Blue and Karen walking through the warehouses full of dead people.
But Irish lady, when they ask about Blue and that she committed suicide, Irish lady's like, well, that's what was said. Why would she even intimate that Blue wasn't suicided?
I think that she's trying to leave it open so she doesn't, not incriminate her, so she doesn't flat out lie.
Okay.
Because she doesn't need to say that she, like, the evidence is already there. She's just basically stating what she saw with the evidence.
But then she did that little wink nod.
She does not do a wink and a nod. She's elbowing the guy next to her. You hear what I did there?
You see that?
Just wait and see. Reveal's coming.
I left it really open.
The other shoe's gonna drop. Okay, so at that point when she runs outside and there's like media out there snapping pictures, there's people with fucking signs, everybody's all heated, and people are watching this on TV around the world, and we actually see Garrett, and this is where I think he's in like a South American country.
Okay.
He is watching it from a little, like a bar.
Sipping his Corona.
Yeah, exactly. So he walks outside, we see Blue follow him out, and then she texts Karen that she finally found him.
Yep, and it just says, got him.
Yep, well, I think it says found him. Is it got him?
Oh, I put got him in parentheses,
Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. You
quotations.
Might be right, though. But anyway, so this is it. So Karen's following him through the streets, and that's
a real
where it
gotcha
ends.
moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha media.
Bethany.
She deleted the text.
She does. And that's that. So that is how the episode ends. Definitely leaves itself a possibility for us to see more with it later, because that really does seem like a cliffhanger, whereas there's not normally cliffhangers.
Agreed.
So anyway, that is the end of this episode. So we kind of already talked about it, but you liked it?
I mean, I like all the episodes.
Yeah.
But this is not one of my favorites. This would be in my lower third.
Just because it's a little too heavy? Also,
It's
89 minutes is a lot.
It's a lot, and it just, I don't know. It just wasn't it didn't grab me like some of the other episodes grabbed me.
Yeah, I feel you. I actually just, in general, do not like long episodes of TV shows. Like an hour for me is more than enough. Any more than that, and I start to get a little... Like, White Christmas to me is one of the best episodes, and it's still too long for me.
Well, and I don't think that this episode needed to be 89 minutes. I think that we could have gotten it...
There's a lot of fat to be trimmed.
In about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I definitely agree with you on that. So anyway, again, thank you guys so much for listening to all of the Black Mirror episodes here. Everybody from the Black Mirror subreddit, Michael for everything that you've done, Mothman for all the editing.
Are you really finishing up now? I had like one more pun I wanted to do.
Yeah, I think that you've got all your puns out. Okay, go ahead.
Just another episode where Brooker really... God damn it. It's a hive mentality joke.
Oh.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
I could feel the words, you know, when you're thinking, when you're thinking too.
All right, so we talked about some of the other episodes that we have coming out. We're also doing Taboo and Legion and The Walking Dead right now. Actually recording The Walking Dead tonight, and Jables and I have come up with a bunch of new segments, so that's actually going to be pretty fun. So check out some of the other stuff we're doing. Tell a friend or tweet out a link or follow us on social, something. You know, we're not asking for your money. Honestly, just some bit of participation to get our voices out there.
Just your nudies.
Yeah, PM us your nudes. So anyway, Bethany, until next time.
I know I'm gonna miss doing this.
I know we'll have to find another.
Coming back.
I know we might have to find another show if we find out that this is going to be
this
end
is the
of the
only
year.
time we talk to one another.
yeah. You're going back to the room right here. I'm gonna go, sleep out in the car or whatever.
That's how we do it.
But anyway, Bethany, will you tie a bow on this bitch?
See you later, little buddies.